Now, two of the world's richest people are getting a divorce. Bill and Melinda Gates announced they were splitting up after 27 years of marriage. And to talk a bit more about that with me now, we now have Catherine Bennett with us from our business desk on the studio. Hi, Catherine.
Hiya.
Now, this isn't going to be a simple divorce by any means when there is so much wealth at stake.
That's absolutely right. We're talking such big numbers here, such huge fortunes, that this is going to be quite a difficult divorce to settle, at least in terms of finances. So let's have a look at some of the numbers to start with. So Bill Gates is the fourth richest person in the world. He's got a net worth of at least $124 billion, according to Forbes. And the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is one of the world's largest charitable organizations. And it's actually become more high profile during the pandemic because it's been channeling huge sums of money to fund vaccine research. And also has been helping out with this COVAX initiative. And it's invested more than $1.75 billion to combat COVID-19 so far. Now, the most recent financial data that we have on the foundation is from 2019, and that year it had net assets of $43.3 billion. And on top of that, it gives away around $5 billion every year.
So again, we're talking about these massive numbers. Do we know what kind of effect this divorce will have on their philanthropy?
Well, Melinda and Bill Gates really popularised this idea of big philanthropy. So they created what's called the Giving Pledge that encourages billionaires around the world to give at least 50% of their fortunes to charity. And that movement has really transformed the way that the world's richest people think about their charity giving. Now, if we look at Melinda Gates in particular, she's easily the most powerful woman in the sector of philanthropy. So she has her own firm called Pivotal Ventures, which she uses to invest in causes that she's personally interested in, so particularly women's issues and helping families and social progress. So what will be interesting to see is if she uses that firm to further herself, to further her own cause in philanthropy and become a bigger figure in this sector in her own right. Now, we've actually seen that happen before in quite high-profile wealthy couples, particularly with Jeff Bezos and his ex-wife. So when the founder of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, split from Mackenzie Scott, Scott walked away with around $35.6 billion in Amazon stock. So just a couple of months afterwards, she announced to the world, I have a disproportionate amount of money to share, and she signed the Gates Giving Pledge, what we spoke about earlier. And since then, she's donated huge sums of money. So last year, she donated over $5.5 billion. So of course, it'll be interesting to see whether the same thing happens with Melinda Gates, whether she comes away from this divorce with a big settlement, and whether she then uses that fortune for good and transforming the world of philanthropy, and of course, hopefully paving the way for men to follow in the way of women.
Absolutely. Wouldn't that be great? Thank you for that, Catherine. Catherine Bennett there with that look at the fallout from the divorce of Bill and Melinda Gates that was just announced.